There are some sounds in nature that just stop you in your tracks, and the howl of a wolf, that's definitely one of them. So today, we're going to dive deep into the world of one of the most misunderstood animals out there, the gray wolf.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the idea of the wolf. We're going to get into the myths, the reality, and why how we see this animal actually makes a huge difference. So, when I say wolf, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it the big bad wolf from the stories we all heard as kids? Or is it something more noble, like a symbol of true wilderness? The thing is, our stories have painted the wolf as all of these things, and it's created this really complicated, messy picture.
But here's the cool part. Behind all that folklore, there's some incredible science. We're going to peel back those layers of myth and look at what the biology actually tells us. And trust me, it shows just how vital the gray wolf is for keeping our whole natural world healthy.
And that brings us to maybe the most important idea you need to know to get the wolf. It's what scientists call a keystone species. Think of an arch made of stones. The keystone is that one stone right at the top. You pull it out and the whole thing comes crashing down. That's the wolf. A perfect example is Yellowstone National Park. When wolves disappeared from there, the elk population just went wild. They started eating everything, especially the young trees near the rivers. The whole ecosystem started to fall apart. So whether the wolf is there or not, it creates this huge ripple effect.
Okay, so if they're that important, we really need to understand the world they live in, right? What makes them so perfectly suited to their environment? Let's take a look at their habitats and some of their amazing adaptations.
Seriously, wolves are the ultimate adapters. If you're just picturing them in some dark, spooky forest, think again. They're found all across the northern hemisphere, from the freezing cold tundra to vast open grasslands. That ability to live almost anywhere, that's their superpower. It's the key to their survival.
And man, do they need room to roam. We're talking about a lot of space. A single pack's territory can be as big as 1,000 square miles. I mean, that's bigger than Rhode Island. It really puts into perspective just how much wilderness these animals need to thrive.
And look at how they're built. They're just perfect survival machines. Their senses of smell, hearing, sight, they're all off the charts. They have these incredibly powerful jaws that can literally crush bone. Then you've got their thick, double-layered coat for warmth, and these long legs with big paws that let them just power through deep snow. They're built for the hunt, no question about it.
But you know what? Maybe their greatest tool for survival isn't their teeth or their coat. It's something else entirely. It's social. It's all about the pack.
Yeah, a wolf pack isn't just a random group of wolves hanging out. It's a family, a really complex one. And their entire survival hinges on working together. Whether it's hunting, taking care of the pups, or defending their territory, everything is a team sport. That social glue is the foundation of their entire world.
And inside that family, everyone has a job. You've got the alpha pair at the top, they're the leaders, the parents. Then you have the beta wolves, kind of like the second in command. Most of the pack are subordinates who help with everything. And then there's the omega, the lowest ranking, who often, funny enough, helps keep the peace. Every single wolf has a role, and the pack needs all of them to work.
So what's on the menu for this super organized team? Well, mostly they're going after large, hoofed animals. Ungulates like elk and deer. And this is so important. By hunting these animals, they're not just getting a meal, they're actually managing the entire ecosystem. They keep the herbivore populations in check, which prevents overgrazing. It all ties back to that keystone species idea.
And watching them hunt? It's like watching a master strategist at work. It's incredible. First, they stalk a herd, kind of testing it, looking for any sign of weakness, an animal that's old or sick. Then, the chase is on. They work together like a well-oiled machine to isolate their target. And finally, the takedown is all about coordination and endurance, just wearing the prey out. It's pure intelligence in action.
You'd think all that intelligence and adaptability would make them invincible, right? But in our modern world, the wolf is up against its biggest threat ever.
I mean, life out there is just tough. It's unforgiving. The average wolf in the wild only lives about 6 to 8 years. They're constantly dealing with the risk of injury, starvation, fighting rivals. Now, compare that to a wolf in captivity. They can live for 15 years, sometimes even longer. That just shows you the insane amount of pressure they're under every single day.
And let's be honest, today, the #1 threat to a wolf is us. As we build more cities, more farms, their home shrinks. It gets chopped up into little pieces. And that pushes them into conflict with people, usually over livestock. And that conflict, well, it often ends tragically for the wolf. It takes an already difficult life and makes it nearly impossible.
The numbers here, they really tell the whole story. Just a century ago, there was something like 2 million wolves on this continent. Then, because of these massive eradication campaigns, by the 1970s, we had pushed them right to the edge. In the lower 48 states, there were only about 700 left. 700. The fact that the population is back up to around 6,000 today is nothing short of a miracle of conservation. But you have to understand, it is a very fragile comeback.
So where do we go from here? What's next? You know, when you really think about it, the story of the wolf isn't just about the wolf. It's about us. It's about our relationship with wild places.
And this is the key takeaway. Bringing the wolf back isn't just a feel-good story about saving one cool animal. It's about fixing entire landscapes. Since they've returned to places like Yellowstone, we've seen these amazing ripple effects. Forests are healthier, beaver populations are bouncing back. It's just the most powerful reminder you can get that in an ecosystem, everything is connected.
It really all boils down to responsibility, doesn't it? There's this great quote from a conservationist named William T. Hornaday that I think just nails it. He said that the wild things of the earth aren't ours to just do whatever we want with. They're given to us in trust, and we have to answer for them to the people who come after us. It really makes you think about our role as caretakers.
So I want to leave you with one last question to chew on. That howl, that iconic sound of the wolf. It's haunting, it's beautiful, no doubt. But what if it's also asking us a question? What if it's a test of our willingness to share this planet? A test of our ability to make room for a world that isn't just about us? The answer we give? Well, that's not just going to decide the wolf's future. It's going to decide ours, too.